Welcome to the Breakthrough and Bloom podcast. My name is Kelsey Marks, and I am your host and your Breakthrough BFF. I intend to be an open channel to allow insights to flow in that help you break through to the next level of who you were always meant to be. With these conversations, we're going to shift some perspectives, okay? And we're going to give you a new way to live the life that you live, allowing the opportunity to truly manifest what it is that you desire. So if you're looking to break through to the next level of who you are, to live the life of your dreams, and to gain a deeper understanding of spiritual topics, well, you have come to the right place. And I know we're going to have so much fun together, and I am beyond excited to have these conversations with you. So let's go ahead and get started, shall we? Hello. Welcome back to Breakthrough and Bloom. How is everyone doing? Scorpio season is upon us, and it is the most wonderful time of the year because it's Scorpio season. I'm a Scorpio, baby. If you aren't already aware, your girl over here is very, very influenced by Scorpio, being both my moon and my sun, along with a ton of other planets. It's definitely the most introspective time of the year. Scorpio season really pushes us, forces us almost to look within and address the parts of ourselves that we've been ignoring for maybe like the whole year since last Scorpio season. I hope not, but maybe. And my birthday is coming up November 12th. Mark your calendars because birthdays are my favorite. They're my absolute favorite holiday. I consider them a holiday. They are my favorite. I love them. I love celebrating all of them, not just mine, but like people that I love celebrating their birthdays. It's just my thing. Okay. People like Halloween. Some people like Christmas. I love birthdays because it's just celebrating you. And I just love that. So if you are feeling a little bit rocked lately, especially with the lunar eclipse that we had recently, don't stress out, okay? You're not alone. I myself have been getting the shit kicked out of me. Literally, like I have just had my like world fucking rocked a lot lately. Things have been coming up for me to release and heal, and it's been a lot. And that's a lot saying, you know, coming from someone who is so heavily influenced in Scorpio, like this is my time of year and I'm getting my ass kicked. So if you are out there getting your ass kicked, you are not alone. Just keep riding the wave. You're going to come out on the other side. It's going to be good. We'll pop into Sagittarius season. It'll be a lot better. But just keep pushing through and just healing and releasing and doing the work during Scorpio season. All of this, it's just going to help you, you know, move forward on your path, right? The universe is just kind of pushing us during Scorpio season to clear out the way so that the path is just a little bit clearer. We have more clarity. And, you know, it might be a little hard. And you just got to keep doing it. Keep knowing, like, just know deep down that the work that you're doing is going to pay off dividends in the end. Like right now, it might kind of suck. But if you just keep pushing through, you're going to get the gold at the end of the rainbow there, I promise. So this episode is not about Scorpio season, even though that's how I started. And it's not about my birthday, even though that's how I started. In this episode, I want to expand a little bit on an episode I had previously about failure. But I want to expand in a kind of different direction a little bit. A couple weeks ago, I had went and I had a reading that was done by this lovely, lovely woman from Scotland who is a seer, comes from a long line of seers. So there's like seers and healers. So like healers are like me, right? We do the work to help others release and feel better. And then there's seers who have the gifts out there to literally just give insight and give clarity and help people see, right? Seers. Anyways, so the reading I had with her was really, really interesting. And I had a lot of confirmations of things that I was thinking and feeling, just not really like believing or accepting. And one of the things that she told me to do was to ask my guides at night to help me in my sleep state with whatever, the various things that I need help with. So I've started doing this at night now. It changes from night to night based on whatever I feel in the moment I need help with, whether it's like releasing anger, channeling business ideas, incorporating more of my light, whatever, the casual sleep time stuff. So I started asking for help before I go to bed from my guides, because that's something that we have to remember, is that our guides will not and cannot intervene without us asking, right? Like, it's not like they're guiding us and forcing us along, right? They're there to provide help when it's asked, but it has to be asked. So I was like, oh, good reminder. Okay, let me start asking for help, right? And one morning, after I had asked for like an idea download type thing, I woke up with this idea in my mind, which is today's topic for this episode, which is about how sometimes when our desires don't actually work out for us, it's because it wasn't actually meant for us in the way that we like pictured the end goal in our mind. And I know, you're probably like, wait a second, sis, I listened to that episode and you're constantly saying what is desired for you is destined for you. And yes, absolutely, I'm not going back on that. That does not change, because what I'm going to explain, the desire, it still creates a positive experience for you and also for others. Because remember, we are all one. We are all extensions of consciousness in separate forms, but we are all the same. So what is of the highest and greatest good for you is also of the highest and greatest good for others, and vice versa. We all have had experiences in our lives where we've either like met someone new, or someone presented us with an opportunity that just like changes everything for us. Like almost like a little mini miracle, or just perfect timing to receive something you were looking for, or maybe even better than what you thought. Like we've all kind of had these moments in our life, right? And for example, I'll give you one. You might be thinking about getting a new job, and maybe you like mention it in conversations with friends, with family, whatever. And then they tell you that they know a place that's hiring that would actually be perfect for you. And hey, bud, I'm going to need you to chill out, okay? Okay. So Ranger's getting worked up about this story. So he really believes in this stuff too. So what was I saying? Yeah, you were having, let's say you were having conversations with people about wanting a new job. And then they mention that there's a place that they know that's hiring and think it would be perfect for you. So then you apply, and now you have this recommendation as well. They say, put me down as a rec. I'll totally like put in a good word for you. Like I know the hiring manager, whatever. So then you apply, you get the job, and then you like love it. Your life changes, right? Because this opportunity just like kind of flew into your life. Or another example, maybe you go on vacation and you meet someone new in like a coffee shop, and they're interested in the same hobbies that you are. So my hobbies are reading. So let's say reading, and you get a book recommendation. It's like one of those books that absolutely just like changes the way you look at something. So maybe someone like recommended a book about boundaries, and you haven't really learned about boundaries before. So then you start reading it. And then now like that changes, right? Because you've just had an experience that presented itself to you. Or like maybe you randomly find someone on Instagram who like offers a class and a skill you want to learn that you never thought you could. So then you sign up, and now you're using this skill every day, and you've expanded yourself more than you could have imagined, right? Like all of these are something flowing into us, right? Like at some point in our lives, we felt the magic of the universe flowing to us and flowing through others. Like all of these opportunities that I had mentioned were because of connections with others, right? Of communicating with others, of just being around others. Like through connections, through places, opportunities, conversations, the like we've had the universe flow legit magic to us. And that's where this thought had come in. Like, I've touched on co-creation before and what that means, how we're essentially co-creating with the universe and that we're not in this alone. And that the universe always provides for us when we are willing and able and open to receiving in ways that we, might not expect or think of, like being able to receive ourselves, right? Like it's the fuller version of us that knows more than us, okay? So able to provide things to us in ways that maybe we cannot predict. So like, how does the universe co-create with us? A lot of different ways. There can be amazing things that just seem to like literally pop out of thin air, like literal miracles. But sometimes, and most of the time, I think, it happens through other people. That's how like the co-creation is happening. It's like through the other aspects of yourself, of source, through other people, right? Like, if you're trying to fit this really big desire, really big goal, let's say it's like 100 people and you're trying to fit it through one door and like you can't do it, you open another door, right? Like that's another person that's allowing more to flow in, more people to get through into the room. So in my previous episode where I've talked about changing the perspective on failure, which is an absolute banger, okay? So go check it out if you haven't already. But I've talked about how failure doesn't mean like all is lost or that it was a waste of time or that like you're inherently bad. There's always a lesson to be had with failures. I don't even like want to call them failures. They're just like successes in disguise. And sometimes, which I've now come to realize too, because of these downloads from my guides and my dreams, is that sometimes there isn't really like a lesson either, besides learning to be of service to others. And like, why am I saying this now? Why am I adding this on? Well, because of this thought I had, right? That your desires not working out for you, it doesn't mean that it wasn't like quote unquote meant to be, or that it was even a failure at all. Your desires not working out might actually be a gift meant for someone else. It might be that nudge in the right direction for them, that path shifting, perspective changing moment. Or maybe you're providing a miracle opportunity for them, right? Like, we love when that flows into us, but how often are we allowing the flow to happen for others, right? So let me give you an example, real life examples here. I've got a couple that are like racking in my brain. So the first one, last year, Jordan and I had wanted to move to North Carolina. We were looking at homes, like doing virtual tours. We had a realtor, like the whole thing. I was already pre-approved. We had the loan, like all of it. We were like moving, and we had put in multiple offers on homes. And none of them were working out. Like, we were getting outbid constantly, full cash over asking offers. And like, how am I supposed to compete with that? And then I started to like get a bad feeling about all of this. Not like, oh, I need to give up, this isn't working out. Not like that, but just like in my gut, I started to like just feel like, maybe this isn't the right move. So we decided to pause on moving to North Carolina. And when I look back now, thank God we did, because I started my last business, Cosmic Crow Healing, which honestly I don't think would have happened if we moved. And I wouldn't be here right now on this podcast if I didn't start Cosmic Crow Healing. So if I had moved, it might not even be a thing. So that's like pretty wild, right? So while we were planning on moving, though, my best friend Kristen, the one who hits us with all that straight fire in the text messages sometimes that I share, she also wanted to move south. And her partner, Kyle, they were actually able to find land, close on it, find a builder, start building their home in all what seemed, from outside perspective, pretty seamless compared to what Jordan and I were going through, getting like rejected. And I was thinking, when I had this download about like desire's not working out for you, but it's destined for other people. And I was thinking, oh my God, like I had this initial desire to go to North Carolina, And it had inspired me to start doing things, talking about it, looking at things, like getting things moving, starting the ball rolling. And I had ultimately inspired her to want to move down south as well. Like she had wanted to, but she didn't have an area picked out. So then when I picked Wilmington, North Carolina, you know, that kind of made it more realistic. And it had started getting the wheels turning for them to start looking to put an offer in and to get everything started. Had I not followed my initial desire to start looking in North Carolina, but just kind of like squashed it and was like, no, we're not going to do it. I'm just like, I'm not even going to talk about it. Like, whatever. It's just a silly dream. Like, if I didn't start following that desire, I don't think that they would have started looking in that area. I'm going to be completely honest. Or maybe they would have, but it would have taken much longer. I don't know. Or even if it did take them, they did decide later and it took them longer. Maybe the land that they wanted wouldn't have been available, because actually the land that they got they got it like right before it went to foreclosure. So they wouldn't have been able to if I like hadn't started the conversations and gotten that going, right? They wouldn't have been able to have the experience, the difficulties, the headaches, the lessons, the beautiful life that they have now in this now moment, if it wasn't for that initial desire that flowed through me to start looking and to start sharing that idea with others around me and having those conversations and like getting excited about it. And look, we didn't move, Jordan and I, we didn't move. We're still in Massachusetts. And now we're actually planning on looking at Florida instead. But I see this as this North Carolina desire that came through. It wasn't necessarily for me, right? It was for Kristen. And what I did by following this desire is I allowed the universe to flow through me to provide the next steps for her, to provide the inspiration for her, to allow her to continue her growth, her soul development, the things that she needs to go through, to learn through, right? We all want to be on that receiving end of the universe providing through others, right? We all want to receive the miracles and the things just working out flawlessly and just like the opportunities up the ass crack. But what about us being that for others? Like, we get what we give, right? So why not be the one to connect with others? Why not be the one that's inspiring others? Why not be the one that's motivating others through your own following and action taking on desires that flow through you? And maybe this takes away a little bit of the scariness of following your desires too. If it's like, maybe it's not all on me, right? Like maybe this desire, I'm just supposed to kickstart it and it goes to someone else, right? Like I'm presenting it to someone else. And maybe that makes it a little bit easier for you to start taking the steps, for you to be like, maybe this isn't like exactly for me. Like I want it to be, obviously it's my desire. I love it. But if it doesn't work out in the long run, could I be gifting this to someone else, right? Could I be co-creating for someone else? Am I like allowing energy, universe to flow through me? Am I providing? Am I being of service, right? And I think for someone like me, at least, who like loves gift giving, that's my love language, and used to be a chronic people pleaser, when I saw this perspective shift of like, following my desires may be a gift for others, I am like, my insides were like, yes, let's get on board with that. Like, I'm gonna just push through with every desire that comes in, because who knows if it's for me or if it's for someone else, but like giving that gift to someone else is going to fulfill me just as much as if I got the desire. And I think that's like the really key, important lesson part of what this download was that you can be just as fulfilled with a desire if it does not end up being yours, but rather someone else's. Because again, we are all one. So if you are helping someone else achieve a goal, achieve a desire, move forward in their life, progress further, like, isn't that such a gift for you as well? Because that is you, just in a different form. There's no need to be jealous, because what's possible for others is possible for you, and what's possible for you is possible for others. It's just the way that the universe works. It's just the way that it is. It's the truth. And there was another time that this happened too. and it has to do with moving. So apparently, if you're around me when I'm planning on moving, it might, and you know, you want to move along, you might have some big ass life changes that are about to happen. So when I had moved to California back in 2015, I had like this crazy desire to be in California, which, you know what, now that I think about it, may have also been inspired by Kristen then, because she was in California at the time at Pepperdine in Malibu. And I had like the idea of going to California prior, but then when she went to school out there, I was like, I went and visited and I was so into it. So you know what, Kristen, we're just swapping. You inspired me years ago. I inspired you now. And we're pushing each other to grow. Love that. Anyways, so I had this like crazy desire to be in California. So much so, I was talking it up constantly. And my other best friend at the time and roommate, Steph, she had gotten inspired to come along as well. She wanted to go to California. She wanted to move out. She wanted to experience it with me. And even though California ended up being super hard for me, something that Jordan and I struggled through together, I know that it taught us super valuable lessons. So obviously it was for me as well. But when I like started looking at this more, something else I noticed too is not only like the magic and the growth and the opportunities that moving to California had brought to my life and Jordan's life, but I realized also to Steph's life as well. So she met her husband out in California. We actually all worked together at Buffalo Wild Wings. And I remember telling her to date him because he did tattoos, and it would be so cool to have someone in our friend group who did tattoos so we could like, you know, get tattoos done and have someone do them, right? And it's so funny because now she's married to him. She has amazing, beautiful tattoos. And she's living this absolutely beautiful life with two amazing boys. And I'm like, okay, so California didn't like unfold for me how I had envisioned when I moved initially. I still love the fact that I did it and everything that came out of it. But like also, holy shit, how can I say that moving to California wasn't as good as it could have been when I see that, right? Like if I didn't want to move to California, I don't even think it was on her radar prior, honestly. Like my desires, sharing it with others, inspiring others, brings them also on their paths, on their journeys, meeting the people that they're supposed to meet, living the lives that they're supposed to live, helping guide them with the things that they're meant to experience and have, right? And there was another one too. So another one, it doesn't have to do with moving. It kind of does, but not moving your house. So more recent. So those of you who have gotten in-person sessions with me when I was running Cosmic Crow Healing, you know that I had an office space in Agawam that I ran sessions out of. And when I found this place, hashtag Craigslist for the win, also I got Ranger off of Craigslist back in LA, off of the streets of LA. So he is a California boy, but don't sleep on Craigslist. That's all I'm saying. There's still some bangers out there. So anyways, when I had found this place, when I signed the lease, I kid you not, as I was leaving the building, obviously I'm like super excited and I'm like, oh my fucking God, I'm doing it. Like I'm taking the steps and like I'm very excited about it. But I also had this thought that came to me to share the space with my Reiki master, Debbie. And it was just like a fleeting thought. And I was like, oh yeah, like I could share the space and that would like help reduce the rent and blah, 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 whatever. But I never followed through with it. And I was just like, you know, I kind of want like to do this on my own. I want the space on my own. I want to set it up on my own, blah, 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 yada, yada. And then I was like, because Cosmic Crow Healing is going to be huge and I'm going to be so busy, I can't share it. Like, anyways, come to the end of my lease, I'm like, okay, I'm not renewing it because I'm not feeling like the in-person sessions like I was. I really wanted to move more to a digital space. And Debbie just kept popping in my head, like, ask her. And after like, I don't know, a couple weeks of me like being like, I need to ask her. I finally reached out to her. And that ended up being perfect timing for her to like get into this new space that was quieter than where she was at, a space that wasn't at her home. And it like didn't feel like an invasion like that, and she could take on new clients of people that she didn't really know that well, right? Because it's not in her home. But like the space was also hers, and she can decorate it how she wants and like do all the feng shui stuff that she's so good at. Like, had I not said fuck it a year ago and gotten the space, even though I didn't have any clients at the time, I had none. I was just like, fuck it, I'm going to rent the space because I want the space, because that's going to invite the clients to come in, right? I don't want to do it in my house. And I know energetically saying that is pushing people away. So it's like, fuck it, I'm going to get the space. So I did. Had I not said fuck it, followed that desire of getting a space and just been like, realistically, I don't have any clients, I shouldn't get a space, blah, 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 blah. Like tell myself all of these stories or lies or whatever. Like, I wouldn't have been able to share this with Debbie. I wouldn't have been able to help her get further on her path, right? Like, I presented this opportunity for her, and it was perfect timing. And it was interesting too, because when we were talking about like moving everything over, I told her, I was like, Debbie, I shit you not, like when I started renting the space, I thought of you. And she was like, if you had asked me then, I would have said no. Like, she wasn't in the place for it. And it's just like, following your desires, following your gut, following your intuition, like all of that, right? And also an added bonus too is that I can still use the space. So I can still have in-person sessions, but I don't have to like feel bad about the fact that I'm using it once a month, right? Twice a month or whatever it is. I can feel better about it knowing that someone's going there almost every day and like really using the space and utilizing it and doing what I had envisioned in it, right? My desire was for a Reiki healing space, and it exists. It may not be mine, but it exists, and I get to experience it, and I think that's absolutely beautiful. So yes, always follow your desires. I'm just going to reiterate that. Always follow your desires, because what is desired by you is destined for you. And whether the end result is what you think or you expect, that's another thing, okay? You are meant to get out of a situation and experience something specific for you. And it may be a lesson in what you want versus don't want, giving you clarity. It may be a wake-up call for you. It may be exactly what you envision, or it may be just something for you to experience with someone else that sets them on motion towards their desires and opportunities that align them with their soul growth. You might be the gift giver or the inspiration that someone else needed. Like, the universe provides through others. The universe provides through all various aspects of self. That's the co-creation. And I think this is what it truly means to be of service to others, right? To just follow your heart, do what feels good, continue on the path of what excites you, and just go for it, right? Live it out. Get the ball rolling. Start small. See what happens. See what comes out of it. And success is like, it doesn't have to be money or completing something or exceeding expectations. Successes, desires can be just learning something new. It can be helping someone else. It can be helping others align to their own highest version of themselves. By being of service to others, it also, like, you don't have to be a martyr, okay? You don't have to give up everything about yourself, right? By you living your most authentic life, by following what feels good, doing what excites you, following what desires come into your mind that aren't just like fleeting desires, but the ones that you think about consistently that are popping in your head every day, like those are the ones to follow. And who cares if it doesn't end up exactly like your brain is conjuring up? It could be so much better. It could be for someone else. It could be a lesson to learn. Like, there's various ways that your desire can end up, and all of them are positive. You either are going to get what you want, you're going to learn something, you're going to get clarity out of it, or you're going to help someone else along their way. And I think, at least for me, this has helped me look at starting projects and just like going for it when I think of it this way, that regardless of the outcome, something or someone is going to be better because of it. Whether it's me getting my desire like I envision, or even better than I envision, or it's providing an opportunity for someone else, or it's an opportunity for me to gain clarity on my vision. Like, whatever the outcome is, that's all successes in my book. All of it. And me being the person who loves to give gifts to others, like my love language, like that just clicks for me and feels so good for me, right? Like it helps me be like, you know what? Let me follow this, because it could be really good for me, but it could be even better for someone else, right? Like, I almost have to do it. I have to do it. The gift-giving nature in me is like, give these gifts, right? Of opportunities, of things for others. And, you know, I have to like give these gifts out, these opportunities, these moments, these inspirations, these little nudges, these little pushes. And I want to, right? I want to be of service to others. And honestly, the way in which I intend to help others is by getting them out of their ruts, by getting them moving and started and traveling on their journey. And if I can do that by simply following my heart, I don't think there's anything better than that, honestly. Like, I'm not giving up myself. I'm not ignoring me. I'm not being a martyr. It's more that I'm overflowing with so much love that it's radiating out to others. And the more that we do the things that we desire, that inspire us, the more confident we become in who we are, in what we like, in what we do, and why the fuck we're here in the first place, right? Confidence isn't just handed out to people. Confidence is built through the repetition of action. Plain and simple. The more we do things that excite us, the easier it becomes to just do. You're not going to land a kickflip skateboarding if you've never skateboarded a day in your life, right? It might take you a long time to learn how to kickflip, and you might be skateboarding for a while before you even start venturing on tricks to feel confident enough to do it, right? Like, build the confidence through repetitive action of things that are exciting to you, not things that are like boring or that don't light you up or don't fill up the cup, right? Like, don't put your energy into things that do not feed back to you. Don't put your energy into things that are a drain. Put your energy into things that bring back that energy to you in a renewed sense of being. It doesn't take from you, it gives, right? When we trust ourselves to know what excites us and follow that, I think that leads us on our path of expansion so much quicker. Like, we just have to trust ourselves to know that in the end, this is going to work out. Whether it's what I wanted, it's a lesson to learn, or I can be of service to someone else. And I think in order to be of service to someone else too, there's this kind of requirement of awareness too. Like, you have to be aware of how what you do affects others. And I think this is a form of self-awareness, of being aware of others, right? And if you're on this journey of self-growth, I'm sure self-awareness is like one of the main goals when it comes to doing this inner work of this self-healing, of being on the growth journey, of asking yourself these questions. Like, you want to become self-aware. You want to become aware of what's going on within. We want to become more aware of like who and what we are beyond this human form. And what does that look like? What does that feel like? And how can we bring more of that into this experience? And obviously, it starts with becoming aware of your inner world, your emotions, your thoughts, your beliefs, your patterns, your behaviors. And I think over time, that self-awareness starts to spread out, starts to like trickle out, and you start thinking of others in the way that you were thinking of yourself, right? As opposed to like making assumptions, but more of curiosity and compassion and empathy. You start to notice how you interact with others, how you're interacting with nature, with animals, and maybe ways that you used to interact no longer feel good, and you want to be more compassionate. You start to Notice the way you're interacting with your surroundings. You start to notice how what you do affects those around you. That, like, for example, if you smile at a stranger, they might smile back. And maybe they even start talking and having a great conversation. Or if you hug a friend who seems like they're kind of down, you might help boost their mood. Or another way, like if you observe birds quietly, they might come up closer to you. And maybe if you have like a little peanut or something, they might take it out of your hand. Or you notice how others react when you get angry, right? You start to notice how animals react when you're crying, right? Maybe your dog or your cat comes up to you. You start to notice how someone might feel if you were to cut them in line, right? As opposed to just doing it, you might become more conscious of like, how might people around me feel if I was to do this? You start to think how your actions might affect someone else. And I know I say that others' reactions to your actions are about them and not you, and I'm not changing my stance on that either. But what I'm saying is you become more aware of how you interact with others, and you start to choose more compassion, more love, more patience, less judgment, more forgiveness. And I think this is you acting in your highest timeline, right? When you bring in more of the love and the light that you are, it just like pours the fuck out of you. And it goes into those around you. And that's through the way that you interact with others. Because when you really start becoming aware of how you feel internally, you realize that other people have internal worlds as well. And it's full of stories and beliefs and emotions just like yours. And they might be fucking going through it. And you can empathize. You can be like, oh, I get it. I fucking went through it last week, right? You can empathize. You can act in integrity and compassion. And the more that you do this work, it low-key begins to feel like yucky to gossip or to think badly about someone or to pass judgment or to like not give someone a compliment or to just think poorly of someone. Like it starts to just not feel good. It starts to like feel weird to pass judgment. And like if you hear other people doing it, you're like, come on, don't do that. Right? Like you don't know. Right? Like you start cheering for people more. Like if someone is doing something really wild and crazy, you're like, yeah, get a queen. Like, I love that. Embrace it. Be you, authentic, live it. Like you start wishing everyone healing who's hurting. And I don't know, that's been my experience at least. Like anyone who's also done a lot of this work or, you know, has done this kind of like soul searching, clearing of the past, healing of emotions, becoming emotionally aware and aware of how your body is and in the now moment. Like, let me know if you've experienced something similar. Like, where the self-compassion that you started learning for yourself trickled into compassion for others. And it might be so seamlessly that maybe you didn't even notice it until I mentioned it right now. Or maybe you did notice it. Honestly, I think it's one of the most beautiful and rewarding things about this inner work is not only how it changes you and your life and the way that you feel about yourself, but it also changes those around you. Because if you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. And I think that's absolutely beautiful. So I think that's the episode today. That last little topic, we went on a little tangent, but it felt right to share, so I shared it. But these are the ideas that I had, that following your desires might not, and honestly, it probably won't end up exactly how you envision anyways. It's probably going to end up better than you thought in the long run. And even if it doesn't, you're helping others along the way achieve their dreams, follow their path, inspiring them to continue on their journey, all by just doing the fun shit that passes through your brain, okay? And like, why the hell not? Just keep following your heart and let the beauty that is your energy pour out through you into others. Obviously, be intentional with what you do. Don't just fucking throw spaghetti at the wall and hope shit sticks, but like, be intentional with what you do. Be clear on your actions and make sure that you're in alignment with what is the highest and greatest good for you. Because again, that's the highest and greatest good for all. Intention is everything. So if you have a desire, sit with it and just get really clear on it and set an intention of what you desire out of it. And when you do that, it's always going to come out as the highest and greatest good, right? Like when you take the time to really connect with yourself, you're gonna have an intention that is really just for the betterment of everyone involved. And if your intention comes out feeling kind of shady, I would say keep digging. Because your intention should just feel really good, really warm, really like inviting, and just like, this is so expansive for me, and that's going to allow me to help others expand, or allow people around me to experience more, or like me to be able to give back, right? Like most of the time we want more money because we want more freedom, so then we can spend time with our family or our kids, and then like that's expanding to others, right? So like your intention is everything. And I think that's all that my brain has on that right now. If you have enjoyed today's conversation, hit me up on the Instagram DMs. I'd love to know what you liked, what got your gears turning and thinking, you know what, that's kind of a new way to think of it, to look at that. So like I'm into it. And also, if you want to just chat, like if you have no one else to talk about any woo or spiritual shit with, like I'm your girl, hit me up. Like for real, the other day, one of my clients sent me a message about like ETs, and it was just a simple question, and they wanted more information, and like the amount that I was like, oh my God, yes, I have this and this and this. Like ask and you shall receive, okay? So if you feel like you don't have anyone to talk about this kind of stuff with, like I'd love to have the conversations with you. This is like my bread and butter. I love having conversations, so much so that I come on here every week and have a conversation with myself for at least 30 minutes, okay? Like this is why I'm here, okay? Ask me the questions, reach out, let's have conversations. Like I've read the books. I read a lot of books. I watch videos. I listen to a lot of like downloaded messages, and I can't think of the word that I really wanted to use. Channeled messages, okay, came to me. Like I store all of this in my noggin, okay, for the day that someone asks me a question about it, okay? So give me a gift. Ask me a question. And honestly, if I don't know the answer to your question, you bet your ass I'm gonna find out more about it, because I like am a perpetual student. I love to learn, and I will always learn, and I always want to share. I'm a student teacher combo. I do both at the same time. Anyways, okay. In case no one has told you this today, I am so incredibly fucking proud of you, because you're doing the fucking best you can, and that's all you need to do, okay? Just keep doing your fucking best, because you're amazing, sweetie, and I love you. I love you. I love you. I will see you in the next one.